there was this ship called the Ship of Theseus. It was a ship that they sailed around the Mediterranean. And they said, you know, every couple of years we have to replace some boards. They're getting old. We have to replace the sails or something. But what happens once we replace every single board and every single sail? Is it still the same ship? You can think about that during the sermon. That gives you something to think about. So, you may have heard this one. One of the big questions was, what is everything made of? There's actually a man named Democritus. Again, I was a science teacher. Bear with me. Democritus actually came up with an idea very much like what we have today. He said everything's made of these little indivisible things called atoms. He said you take a sheet of paper and you keep ripping it in half, and rip it in half, and rip it in half. Eventually you're going to come to the smallest sheet of paper you can possibly have, and if you rip it any further, it's no longer paper. That's interesting because it's a lot like what we have today. Although the most popular opinion was that everything was made of 4 elements in somehow. Everything had these 4 things inside of them. Can you name them? You probably know them. Earth, water, wind. Oh, they're up there. Yeah, but you can't read them. Oh, yeah, you can. And fire. And I always had a problem with that because I didn't know exactly what that meant. Why would somebody think that everything had earth, wind, air, and fire inside of it? And earth you can kind of understand. Earth is like rocks or like dirt. It's matter, what we call today. And everybody said, oh yeah, of course, everything has stuff inside of it. Well, you can kind of also figure out water. Water is like the gooey, gross stuff. If we have water inside of us, if you take a plant and just squeeze it, water is going to come out. Water moves in waves, and we feel waves. That's very common. Air, you know, yesterday I actually had to get inside the baptismal and just kind of flap my arms around to get all the water to circulate. And even then, no, I shouldn't have told this story. There were air bubbles, but I promise it was not me. The point of this story was, somehow, away from me, there was just bubbles that came up. And I thought, where did that come from? They were just hiding in some place. And when I got in, I stirred the water around, and you see bubbles, you see air. We have air inside of us, we breathe. Trees have air, we see the wind blow. So I can say, okay, they have air. But what about fire? That was the real one. Why would you think everything has fire inside of it? Well, if you think about what fire does, it's a little easier. Fire burns things. It consumes things. It makes things decay. Fire tears things apart. And that's exactly what happens to everything. When you buy a new car, even if you don't drive it in 20 years, it's going to be an old car. It's going to start to rust for some reason. Rocks are going to break down. Everything breaks down. You and I are breaking down. So I can definitely see how they would say everything's made of fire. And if we think about that, it helps us to understand this whole fire thing in the Bible a lot better. God and fire seem to always go together. In Exodus 3, God appears to Moses in this fiery bush. And he says, don't just stand there, Moses. Go liberate my people. Exodus 13, after the liberation, they're moving through the desert. And God appears in fire, in this fiery pillar, to guide God's people by night. Later in Exodus moving. God is a God who moves even when on God's throne. And God's wheels are made of fire. Fire changes and consumes, it consumes and it changes. And this is what God does. And then God calls God's people to do the same. God wants us to start fire. I probably shouldn't say it like that. God doesn't want you to start a fire, don't want you to be an arsonist. But God wants you to start fires, metaphorically. God does not call us to the same old, same old. He brings us fire. When growing up, I had, my dad had a little picture on the mirror where I got ready, I brushed my teeth and combed my hair. And so every day I looked at that picture, and it said, "When returning from the altar, bring not the ashes, but the fire." And I have to tell you, for me, looking at that every day of my life, I had absolutely no idea what it meant. I guess it's because I was young, and I didn't really understand metaphors all that much. And so, and worse, it had a picture of the logs, and so I kept picturing somebody going into the forest and stealing somebody's fire. I didn't know. And so I asked my dad many times, and he tried to explain it to me. Looking back, it occurs to me that all he really had to do was say, "It's not a literal fire, Vince." And I probably would have understood a lot better. But maybe he didn't say that because you can't really understand God if you don't understand fire. God moves, God does, God changes. Back in 2020, a year that all of us will remember when we were on lockdown from COVID, my church started doing all of my sermons on Zoom, like many churches did. And so it was a lot easier for me to record them, and I did. I started putting them on Facebook. And I had friends, unbeknownst to me, who would start watching them. I had a friend who ended up writing me. He was going to give me some advice on writing sermons, and he said, "Vince, in my experience, the best sermons are boring." He said he didn't mean that as far as they're not interesting. He said, "Oh, they might be interesting, but they don't always have to challenge. They don't always have to inspire. They don't always have to call for action." He said, "The best sermons just make us feel good. We want to go somewhere and feel good there. We want to feel like God loves us, to know we have God's grace." He said, "You, however, are always pushing. You always have something to say about the poor, that we need to help them, that we need to find some way to serve. You have some way to tell us that we need to go out and find people to comfort, because everyone needs comfort. We need to get on our phones, or we just need to go to the nursing home. We need to do something to comfort people." This was shortly after the murder of George Floyd, and he said, "It seems like you always have something to say about racism and social injustice. Seems like you're always trying to find a way to mention how we need to include the LGBTQ community. It just seems a little constant. All these moral questions." And he said, "Politics has even consumed everything. Even morality seems to be political these days." And this was 5 years ago. He said, "Instead of having a place to go where I don't have to question morality, you preach on them." In the end, he said, "Vince, I like your sermons, but they get a little preachy." He said, "My advice to you is, why don't you just, every once in a while, preach a good old boring sermon." Some of you disagree. You say, "Well, you don't have to do it every once in a while, Vince. Your sermons are always boring." Well, thank you. And I guess. That was exactly 5 years ago, and here's what I told him. I said, "Thank you very much for your message. I always appreciate when someone has advice for me. In fact, I've learned everything that I've learned has been through some congregant telling me something. But I said, I wonder if you realize what day it was when you sent that message preaches a sermon, and after that sermon, the people say, this is Acts 3:27. What do we do now? We can't just go back to our normal routine. We can't just go back to the same old, same old. We have fundamentally changed. We have experienced the fire of the Holy Spirit. We can't just be stagnant. We have to move. We have to do. We need to proclaim our Lord. And yes, doing that means feeding the hungry and giving to the poor and fighting for social justice, fighting racism in all its forms. We need to love those who feel like they are not loved. We need to spread the message of God's love and inclusion to everyone. Yes, that's exactly what that means. And yes, that's exactly why I preach it. I wonder if you remember your own baptism. That point in time when you publicly professed your faith in Jesus Christ and you gave your life to the work of the Spirit. If you were only baptized with water, you may be tempted to believe that that faith is all about comfort, about saying who you are or staying who you are. But when you've experienced the fire of Pentecost, when it's gotten into your bones, you can't go back to the good old-fashioned boring sermons. You can't be content with a gospel that demands nothing and risks even less. You can't sit still because you're not the same ship. Not after baptism, not after fire, not after Pentecost. When you come back from the altar, bring not the ashes, but the fire. Let it consume your fear, your anxiety, your apathy, your sense of safety. Let it spark in you a new calling, a new compassion, a holy unrest. Pentecost means the Spirit still descends, the fire still burns, and the world still needs to know that the church has been baptized in fire. Let's pray. God, we thank you for Pentecost. Help us, Lord, not to be deluded to think that it was something that only happened 2,000 years ago. Help us to know that it's happening right now. It's happening during this church service, that you are sending your Holy Spirit upon us and baptizing us with fire. God, we ask, as they did 2,000 years ago, well, what do we do now? Lord, help us to look towards your Son for those answers. Your Son who fed those who needed feeding. Your Son